Hi everyone, I'm Jay, and I'm going to talk today about my journey as a critical thinker during this semester in the critical thinking course. The first strategy that I want to present has to do with intellectual humility, which comes from chapter 3 of the course book. And this particular lesson that I quite like is the idea that, we have to admit that we don't have full knowledge about just about anything, right? And we have to be humble enough to admit that and then explore further and try to find sources and try to investigate other points of view and especially, be willing to listen to others. Too often, unfortunately, nowadays, people are, not willing to listen to others. They want to put forward their points of view. And I think using intellectual humility is quite a good way to approach life nowadays as a critical thinker. The second strategy I want to talk about is making assumptions, and specifically the key critical thinking question that we learned, which is what assumptions am I making? And it can help us to avoid simple errors, just in terms of our schedule or something like that. But it could also help us to, better make decisions that are important as well, because assumptions might be underlying some of those decisions, and we should check them before we make our decision. Right. And so we need to challenge our beliefs. And I think that this is something that unfortunately I'm kind of prone to, is making assumptions about things. And I think it's good just to stop and pause, especially when it's important. In terms of the self-evaluation, obviously as a teacher of critical thinking, I think I started the course at a fairly high level. I would say that I was at stage 4, a practicing thinker, where I understand and try to use the basic critical thinking concepts. But in teaching this course, and especially in using the course book, which gave me some very different ways of thinking about critical thinking. I think that I've kind of achieved stage 6, which is the accomplished thinker. I think I have a deeper understanding due to the concepts in the course book and in teaching the concepts and in talking to students and listening to students as well. So I think I've advanced as a critical thinker during the course, and I hope to advance even more in the future. In terms of an example of critical thinking and change thinking from my personal experience, well, I used to live in Macau, and my wife and I moved from Macau to Hong Kong, and it was a fairly big decision. The problem was my wife is a doctor of alternative medicine, and her career wasn't doing well in Macau for a number of reasons. And we just naturally assumed that would be better in Hong Kong because Hong Kong is a bigger city with perhaps a more modern point of view, and there might be just a better market for it. But the result, we did make this major move, and unfortunately, there wasn't an improvement in her career, and in fact, some financial pressures did result. And I gave up quite a bit of money working in Macau to come to Hong Kong, and I wasn't making as much money, which is not the only thing in life, but unfortunately, her career didn't improve as well. So in terms of making assumptions, it was really important to check assumptions there. And before we went ahead and made this key decision and key move, right? And just see, maybe she should have gone to Hong Kong initially while I stayed in Macau, right? That could have been possible, or we could have done a lot more investigation, I think. So to conclude, I really think this critical thinking course is quite valuable. It's built on my previous knowledge and skills, and it gave me a lot of exposure to different approaches, especially in the course book. And it is interesting that even a teacher can learn, a teacher of critical thinking can develop as a critical thinker, right? Which kind of connects to that intellectual humility that I was talking about at the beginning. And yeah, for anyone, this learning curve, whether in critical thinking or anything in life, just should continue throughout your life, right? And doesn't end. And just push yourself to continue to develop and become better as a thinker. Thanks very much.